Namaste, I'm Mona Flynn. Thank you for joining me for a chair yoga class. In addition to the chair today, we will use a block, a strap, and a small ball. Come sit at the front edge of the chair. Sit at the top or the front of your sitting bones. Feet underneath your knees, hip width apart. Bring your hands to rest at your lap, close to your knees, and join the index fingers to the thumb tips. Let your hands rest there. And notice your spine. Notice the curves of your spine, the cervical curve of your neck, the thoracic curve of the rib cage, the lumbar curve of the lower back. We are aiming to honor neutral spine, and we are working together in our asana practice to extend the spine, to create space between each vertebra. Close your eyes, draw the chin toward the chest, look into your heart, and bring your focus to your internal landscape, to deep breathing. Notice how your mind's eye on your breath begins to quiet your body and quiet your mind. Bring your hands to your side ribs and broaden your rib cage with your breath. So you are intentional in creating a little bit more spaciousness within in a specific way. Breathe into your hands, and as you exhale, draw the navel to the spine, draw the periphery of the rib cage toward the midline, and inhale and broaden this lateral expansion. One more breath, just like that. Notice the engagement in the abdominal wall, the core work that becomes part of your breath a little bit more than typical. And now bring your hands to your heart. Press the heels of the hands and the base of the knuckles, the tips of the fingers into each other, and use that to help you broaden the rib cage. You have it in your memory now of how to ask for that. Give your practice an intention. With each inhale, let us open to that intention. With each exhale, let us resolve to that intention. And let us begin. Bring your hands back to your knees with a slight tugging action. So you're pulling toward yourself. And as you do, I want you to invite cat pose into your body. So round, begin to look down. And as you continue to tug, draw yourself forward, creating a little bit of a back bend, moving the heart, the thoracic spine forward. And notice what happens with your head. So we'll do that a few more times. As you exhale, abdominal wall engages. Here comes that cat pose. We're looking down, and your head follows your spine and your rib cage. As you inhale, come slowly and notice the expansion and the back bend and how your head and your gaze are upward, following your spine and rib cage. Let's be more specific now. Can we initiate from the tailbone? Can we begin to round in the back from the lower back and then follow from the middle spine, the upper spine, and then the head? And can we do that similarly, undoing the unfurling from the tailbone through to the middle upper rib cage and then the neck and head? Let's try that again. Tailbone first, exhale begins. It's not important to go to an extreme. You can keep it small and still have it effective. And then the tailbone begins first. Very nice. This time we'll come into cat pose and then we'll come into neutral. So here we are, tucking the tailbone first, beginning the rounding through the midsection of the body. And I want you to stop here and only with your eyes look up and then look down. Only with your eyes look up. So you still have cat pose in your body and then look down. And one more time, please. You can feel the muscles of your forehead and the muscles of your eyes. And again, look down and begin to unfurl from the tailbone, this time coming to neutral. Stacking the spine, broadening the collarbones. Take the hands behind you and find the back corner of the chair, the seat, the legs of the chair, press down and back. And it is just a movement of the head. So if you will, please look down. Turn your head 45 degrees and look to one side, down one side of your body. And then lift your head and look over your shoulder and behind. Come back to center. And the same idea, look down into your heart. Notice how the heart, the collarbone, the upper rib cage are in an expanded position. Turn your head in the other direction, look down that side of your body. Keep the legs on, please. Lift your head and look over the shoulder and behind. And what you might notice is that these are all so simple places to be. They're not fancy by any means. But in slowing down, we are building time and asking muscles that hold those positions to just hold them a little bit longer. Come back to center. Take one hand and place it behind your head. And traction, meaning pull up and create a little bit of a length through the back of the neck. Make sure the other hand continues to press down so there's space in the spine. And in addition to that back hand lifting, it is pressing forward and your head presses back. So what happens is that your shoulder has a little bit of strength work and the muscles of the back of your neck have some strength work as well. Nice. Notice bringing your elbow, and now in a relaxed way, forward, so there's no tugging, and then taking the elbow out to the side as it was. And just notice doing it again. So I'm trying to make sure as we go through the next movement that we don't come here, that we are aware to stay with the elbow wide. So now we are rotating. We are going to turn to the side and think, what if I were to come in forward toward opposite elbow, opposite knee? And I'm just folding, I'm not rounding. And it is not necessary that you press and resist, but that's what we're building up to, that the head presses back and the hand presses forward. This is a small action. Add rotation. With or without the strength work, it is not important to have it if this is new to you. And add a little bit of a fold. Notice how the back hand kind of presses you forward. And it's more important to lengthen the side body than to curl. And then come on back. Also notice that your shoulder gets a little bit of work and relax. The other side, my hand at first presses up against the base of the skull to create length in the neck, and a reminder that all action in yoga is light. So just stay here, let the hand press forward and the head press back, and this should not bring any stress. We are creating length as we create strength. And then just go through the range of movement. If I were to move my elbow forward and move it back, this is wonderful strength, range of movement work as it is. And so we're doing it without any strengthening, just to be aware. When we turn, we want to stay with the elbow wide. And if being here becomes too much, you're becoming tired in your shoulder, just put your hand at your elbow, it would be fine. Your hand at your shoulder, elbow wide. From this position, rotate and come forward into a fold. Just think, if I were to aim my elbow toward my knee without caving that arm forward, keeping length in the spine depends on both arms, right? The elbow stays wide and the back hand presses forward. And whenever we twist, the lesson in this is that we must create length before we turn. It is the safer way, and it will keep us with greater range of movement in the spine in a healthier way, period. Both hands press back now. While your hands press back, and I'll turn my chair, I want you to invite the heart to lift. So all of a sudden, we are talking the back bend into the upper rib cage. And while we are here, we'll involve the legs. I want to slide one foot so it's underneath and it's pressing down and back. This isometric work strengthens all of the muscles of the back body. When we are tired, when we don't have as much movement in our life, we begin to sink into the back body. So here we have expansion of the front body and a strengthening of the back body, and it is all light, but it might start to feel big. Take the arms forward and up, bear into the legs a little bit more, keep lifting the ribs away from the pelvis, and know that in the future, as we build with this idea, the idea is to come and lift into standing. But we start with isometric work as we were opening our back bend into the upper rib cage. Before we do the other side, if you will, please look down. Only with your eyes look up, and then look down again, and then look up. It's interesting the effect of the eyes on the vestibular system and on intricate patterns of range of movement. So now, as you lift your head, slide the other foot underneath and press down and back. And just feel this sense of moving forward. So we use all these muscles to move forward into life. Send the arms forward and up. Come into a little bit of a hinge. Bear into your legs. Make it your own. There is work going on in the bearing down and in the lifting up. And when you're ready, sit back. Sit well back. As you sit well back, your ball. And we're going to place the ball between the feet and take the legs up. So as you lower the legs, I want you to relax a little bit. And as you lift the legs, I want you to add more squeeze. So the more you lift, the greater the squeeze. The heels reach, the toes draw back, and then you can lower and slowly relax. So this is a wonderful way to strengthen the quadriceps and all the supportive muscles in extension from the knee without weight bearing. One more time. And as you lift and squeeze this time, if you can squeeze the gluteal muscles, make sure the inner thighs are truly on all the way to sensing that the inner heels are squeezing, and then we will change it. So as you lower and relax, make it so that the ball is between the heels. So what happens then is that your feet are turned out in a turned out position, and then we're going to lift. Very nice. In this external rotation, if you will, point and flex. 2 more times. Notice how when you point your toes, you're more apt to lengthen your spine. So what happens in your feet begins a dialogue with the spine, with the muscles of the spine. And slowly as you lower the legs, we'll do the opposite. We'll hold the ball between the toes and we'll lift. So we have internal rotation. This gives space across the sacrum. This is really nice for the lower back area. And again, point and flex. Very nice. We'll try that one more time. Wonderful. Slide forward on your chair. Use your hands, push down. Bring your feet underneath you, hold on to the ball right in the middle. And notice what it might take to pull the knees up. Yeah, I don't get very far. It's more about lifting the feet up. And if it's too much, don't do it. And if you feel that you need support, then slide back and do it from here. Lift. Yeah, there it's more about the knees. And sometimes we'll just tiptoe into the next place we're going to go without making it more than it has to be. So we just want to get a taste of that. Let's remove the ball and slowly come to standing. Good work. Take the arms forward and up. Let your feet go to where your body needs them. And slowly come up out of the chair. Pause. And then come the rest of the way. Let's stand beside the chair. So I'm going to stand with the chair to my side and the ball underneath the inside foot. So I have the leg that's closest to the chair, the inside leg. That is the front leg. The front knee is bent. The ball is underneath the front of the foot. And the back leg is straight. I am not walking the tightrope. The back foot is turned somewhat forward. And from the side, it looks like this. I have a warrior one set up. So how far your feet are from each other depends on you. Keep it a comfortable challenge. The back heel is on the floor. And the ball underneath the front of the foot gives us a chance to curl the toes around and then release. And just notice how it talks to the back leg. Again, I want to curl the toes around the ball and the sole of the foot and the calf, the hamstring, the glutes turn on. But interestingly enough, the back leg grounds with a little bit more energy and the hip opens. Let's do that again. Curl the toes around. And also notice that because the legs are on, that you're standing a little bit taller, so the back muscles benefit. Next, relax the toes a little bit and focus on the heel of the front foot. The heel of the front foot pushes forward, and that all the more grounds the back leg, reach into the inner heel of the back leg. Curl the toes yet again, so you have more action in the front leg. Take the outside arm forward, keep the hand at the chair, and come into a little bit of a fold. Nice. And then turn your head and look down and back into the seat of the chair. Notice what that is like. And inhale, come upright, shoulder blade down and back. We're going to repeat that with the front leg straight. So as you straighten the front leg, keep curling the toes around. Keep inviting the outside hip forward. Send the arm ahead. Come into your fold. There's more hamstring lengthening, lower back stretch here. Again, turn your head and look down and back. And notice the willingness of your spine to continue to rotate. The arm reaches forward. Very nice. And inhale and return. So we used revolved side angle pose and revolved triangle. Now, if you'll step the back leg forward, the front leg back, and move the ball underneath you, I want you to stay here and notice that your hips are even, that you're not hiking up with the foot that is on the ball, and bear down into the ball and roll the foot forward and back. So we get a good number of advantages from doing this small movement. When the foot bears down, it's a nice massage for the sole of the foot. It helps us stay on the preventative side of plantar fasciitis. It helps with articulation of the mechanics of the foot, only good, and it translates into better gait mechanics. There's a strengthening of the muscles of the ankle, and the knee joint, and the hip joint, responding to push through a range of movement, strength work. And interestingly enough, there is a strengthening of the standing leg, the muscles that then are being used as stabilizers. Notice that the more you push down, the more your core engagement is apparent. This supports the spine, tricks you into standing taller. So many benefits just from this. Helps with balance. Next, if you will take the ball behind you and make it so that it is underneath the heel of that same leg, and then the leg that was back behind the outside leg comes forward. Front knee bent, back leg straight, pelvis square. And I'm still holding onto the chair, way back there. Both arms reach down and back. And we are back to this idea of chest opening that enhances the value of hip opening. The more we bear down into the back heel, the more there is a strengthening of that hip as well. Keep the back heel bearing down. Take the outside arm and lift up. Notice the difference in the enhanced hip opening. Take that arm forward. Shoulder retraction. Shoulder protraction. That means reach forward with the shoulder blade as well. Pull the shoulder blade down and back. One more time, please. And then take the arm back. Look down. Look up. Keep the legs firm. Try that again, please. Look down. We are more used to looking down, to gauging our steps from a reference point that is low. And as soon as we look up, that begins to play with our sense of balance, and it's refining. It's good for us, and it elevates mood. Looking up is uplifting, literally and figuratively. We'll come out of this pose this way, please. If you will keep your hand on the chair, turn toward the chair, walk your feet in, toes and heels, and toes and heels, and then we'll do all of that on the other side. So I'm going to move my chair to stay with you. We will start with the ball underneath the front foot, the inside leg, underneath the front of the foot, with the front knee bent. The back leg is straight. We are not walking the tightrope. You can create more space and distance between your feet and play around with what you can ask for. Keeping that front knee bent, the back leg straight, the hand at the chair, and the pelvis even. You're inviting that outside hip more forward, squaring the pelvis with the direction you're facing, and curling the toes, and then releasing them with repetition and with the breath. So we're not in a hurry. And noticing the effectiveness of coming and going. What turns on? What participates? Then letting the heel bear down and forward. The front heel pushes into the sticky mat. We are counting on the sticky mat. And there's a different sense of grounding. There's a different sort of opening. Combining those two, curling the toes around, keeping the heel bearing slightly down and forward. The outside arm moves forward. We come into a fold. And it is easier to turn the head first and get a reference point, a focal point, and then notice the willingness of the spine to continue to rotate. It is in everyone's interest to build time, to stay here and let your muscles respond. And then to slowly come upright, shoulder blade down and back, that is shoulder retraction. Repeating with the front leg straight. So we want to curl the toes around the ball, come into this fold, turn the head first, notice the willingness of the spine and even the pelvis to rotate a little bit. It participates in the rotation. And how both legs are truly on. And then inhale and come unfolding, coming out of the twist, shoulder retraction. Bend in the front knee. And push. Just notice. Exactly. Pelvis is square, chest is open, the legs are on, spine is extended. As you step the back leg forward and the front leg back, we're using the ball underneath to push down and then to roll forward and back along the surface of the foot. Noticing that the pelvis is even, that we are not hiking. We might have that tendency on one side. Everybody has that tighter hip or the stronger side of the back or the rib cage, and we just want to pay attention. Where to spend time adjusting so that we're building balance in both sides of the body by what becomes apparent to us. Again, the more you push down, the more you notice core engagement. I'm sure everyone is breathing, not holding their breath. Enjoying the massaging effect. And recognizing that both legs are each participating and benefiting. Wonderful. Roll the ball back. And as you roll it back, park it underneath the heel. Step the outside leg forward. We just switched, which was the front leg. The pelvis is square. We're inviting this inside hip more forward and bearing into the back heel. Notice the opening of that hip, how it feels different. And that is because we're adding strength work to that hip opening. The more you bear down, the more these hip muscles take up the work, they respond. So in an elongated fashion, they are gaining strength. And that is what we want. And we have as an advantage in yoga, long, lean, strong muscles. Strong through a range of movement. Take the outside arm and reach back. Both arms are back. And just notice what happens when then you take that outside arm and lift up, how it lends itself to the hip opening. The back hand can use the chair. You can press down and add a little bit more value. There's always a way to add more. There's always a way to back off a little bit. Listen to your body. reach down and back. Bear into the inner back heel. Send the arm forward. Go between retraction and protraction. Let's do that again. The shoulder blade down and back. The shoulder blade and the shoulder reach forward. So we're using a warrior one stance here and adding some variation to the upper body. Take that arm back. Both arms are reaching down and back. And if you will, look down and look up. One more time, look down and lift your head and look up. Pivot to turn toward the chair and walk the feet in, toes and heels, and toes and heels. Very nice. We are standing now behind the chair. So I'm going to move my chair just to keep within the frame. And we'll use the ball one last time. Stepping the feet wide is the idea. Turning one foot out, 90 degrees. Turning the other foot slightly in, maybe 15 degrees. I'm going to put the ball again underneath the front of the foot. The legs are straight, and we're going to shift the pelvis toward the back leg. While you're here, I want you to decide about the distance between your feet, the length of the stance. And notice if what you can do is walk your feet a little bit wider. This is unique to you. You can keep it small until you learn it better in your body. But while you're here and you're shifting the pelvis toward the back leg, notice how you are tipping the pelvis toward the front leg and that you are taking a lateral fold. This is not a rounding. This is not a bending. This is a fold. So this is triangle pose, and we're doing it in a very simple but very effective way. I want you please to take the hand that belongs to the back leg and press down and forward. Forward means in the direction of the front foot. And notice how it helps you shift the pelvis. Take the free arm ahead, meaning in the direction of the front leg. And it's helping your spine with this extension. Stay one more breath. Draw the kneecaps up. Notice that you are not leaning forward, how the chair also helps you to come into your back body. And then come upright. Place that hand down. Take the other arm and reach back. Bend in the front knee, please. And we are to warrior two. Warrior two needs us to pay more attention to the action of the back arm. It leads the pose. So if you feel courageous and comfortable to release both hands, if we were in the midst of a tug of war, the back hand would be winning. Both arms are on. The front knee is bent. The back leg is straight. We are walking the tightrope. Look over the front hand. And this is a wonderful way to strengthen the foundational actions of warrior two. Bring your hands to the chair. Walk your feet in, toes and heels. Toes and heels squeezing with the gluteal muscles zipping up the inner thighs. And noticing how the chair helps you stay long in your spine. It serves a purpose. It is not a crutch. Taking the ball then to the other side. I'm going to roll it there with my foot. But we are stepping the feet wide. And remember, the front foot is turned out 90 degrees. The back foot is turned in 15 degrees. We want to bend in the front knee and keep ample space between the feet. We are starting with both legs straight. This is a triangle pose practice. As we shift the pelvis toward the back leg, we are folding toward the front leg. We are thinking that our body, for the most part, is on one plane. The hand at the chair presses down and forward in the direction of the front leg. The other arm simply reaches. And as the front arm reaches, it is not just hanging out, it is actively reaching. Notice that you are in your back body, that you can push away from the chair and engage the muscles of the back to help hold you. So the value is to keep from leaning in more than you have to. You might need to a little bit, but to come into the back body. Wonderful. Curl the toes around the ball and slowly let up on it. Very nice. Try that again. Notice how it helps you to lift the kneecaps. And then we'll try that one more time. Nice. As you come upright, bend in the front knee and switch to make it so that the back arm is reaching. Turn and look over the front foot. Look ahead. And if you can, comfortably release both arms, nice and wide, and reach into the arms. Let the muscles hug the bones. Keep the legs firm to the floor. Notice the lift of the pelvic floor. But more importantly, notice the lengthening of the spine, the space you are creating. Stay one more breath. And as you exhale, bring your hands to the chair, step off the ball, and help coming in, toes and heels, while the hands press down and keep you long in your spine through the transition. Perfect. From here, we'll use our strap. So I'm going to set the ball aside and use the strap. Still standing beside the chair. So I am beside the chair and I am going to change and use a different color so you all can see me and this hopefully better. That might help. All right. I want to simply step with the outside leg onto the strap. And then I'm going to give both ends to the outside arm. So I stepped with the outside leg further away from the chair, and the same arm that belongs to the leg is holding it. From this position, turn toward the chair. Keep your block handy in case you might need it or want it. It's gonna add a little bit to our challenge, and it will give us a way to back off. While holding onto the chair, I want to place that leg in the seat of the chair. And if that is too much, then I'm going to encourage you to use your block or a stack of books and place your leg on the block. Make it right for you. And if you get to the seat of the chair and you know yourself here with this fold and you can do more, then consider using the block in the seat of the chair, and you can change the height to change the challenge. So there is something in this design to create a challenge for everyone. At first, the hand holding the strap needs to slide until it is elbow straight, meaning walk the hand as close to the ankle as possible. Can we be here in an upright position? Can the arm tug while the other hand at the chair holds on or pushes forward? So you find yourself in your back body. It's a little bit of a challenge to balance, yeah? And remembering that the heart leads, we want to look at the toes and invite that cow, not cat. We are not rounding, and looking down as we fold any amount. If you create a micro bend in your knees, it will be kinder on your lower back. Still the toes are pulled back towards you. Still the heart leads and the front spine lengthens. And we feel in going just a small amount of movement into this pose that it feels really big. So don't force anything. Building time here will help us build mobility and an understanding of what's enough, staying away from what's too much. And then inhale and come upright. Simply step down. That's all we'll do with that today. We want to repeat from the other side. I'll move my chair. You can simply walk to the other side and step into the strap. Turn toward the chair. Think about what happened on the other side. Honor how each side might be different, and swing the leg up into the chair. Make it right for you. Walking the outside hand close to the ankle until the elbow is straight, so you can draw shoulder blade down and back. Toes back towards you. This is a hinging action. We are folding, the heart leads, the front spine lengthens, and we are thinking to invite cow and not cat into the body. Again, keeping a micro bend of the knees is a kind way to invite the lengthening of the hamstrings and the lower back muscles without imposing. Stay one more breath, and then slowly come up and step down. You might feel as if you are standing taller. We'll still use the strap, we'll still use the chair, and I want you to stand behind the chair so that as the chair comes against your body, as you step close enough so that the chair is right against your body, it lends a very subtle support. I'm going to move to showing what I'd like you to do with the strap, so I'm not hiding behind the chair. If you will please stand so that your heels are on the strap and you are holding and tugging. But because your hands cannot hold the chair, it is important for the sake of balance to come right up against the chair. So I am taking these tiny baby steps to make it right up against the chair. The arms are back behind you. They help to open the front body. And because the arms are tugging just a little bit, and the heels, the legs are pressing down into the floor, you're not just resting on your legs. Notice the extension of the spine. Notice how the crown of the head reaches up. Notice how you can lengthen the tailbone down without tucking the pelvis. Notice navel to the spine and the lift of the pelvic floor, oh so subtle. And if you will, turn your head to one side and look down that side of your body. Lift your head and turn and look over the shoulder. Come back to center and turn and look down the other side of your body. Lift your head and look over the shoulder and behind. And come back to center. Very nice. We will use that more in the future. You can simply step out of the strap and put it aside, and we will continue to use the block or the book and come sit in the chair. So at first, I want us to return to the chair in the reverse of how we got to standing. In front of the chair, in that chair-like powerful pose, you can reach and find the seat of the chair behind you if you need, and slowly make it down. Nice. Slide to finding your block, placing it between the knees, and turning so that you are sideways to the back of the chair. Notice that I am not leaning away and I'm not leaning toward. Notice that my knees are aligned with my feet and lifting the ribs, the safer way to turn toward the back of the chair. One hand pushes and the other one pulls. At the same time, the arms press down and we keep length in the spine and the legs are on. We're going to stay here 2 more breaths. When you are ready, the back hand changes its position and it goes to the seat of the chair. So pressing down into the seat of the chair then is a different leverage for extension of the spine. Still, one hand pushes and the other one pulls. We're going to keep this rotation and add a little bit more to the strengthening of this twist. The front hand now goes to the outer knee. And notice I have my palm away, the back of the hand against the outer knee. And as I fold forward, and we were just here, as I fold forward with this twist, I want the back hand to use the chair. And I want to pull. So my front arm presses, it pushes, and the back hand pulls. And what we have here is revolved side angle pose. We're using a preparation. And this is also part of a pose called noose. And noose pose has an interesting play on the shoulders and on the sense of balance. And we're gonna get a taste of both of them. The bottom hand stays, and the top hand now does something very simple. I'm going to turn and rest the back of my hand at my back. And you can slide that hand across any amount, noticing that you are pushing with both hands and you are supporting the aspect of twist, keeping all action light. So this is such a light twist. What's more important is lengthening the spine as if someone is drawing you from the crown of the head. Very nice. Notice that the inner thighs are on and that the feet are on. If it becomes too much anywhere in your body, please back off where you need, meaning take away the block, sit up and rest. But that is all we're doing with this today. So slowly come on back. And we'll simply swivel around to the other side. We will start upright. The block between the knees. Feet underneath the knees, lifting the ribs, turning, and noticing how this side might be a little bit different. Again, notice the position of your head. Notice if you are inclined to drop the head, try to stay in your upright position, feel how you are in your back body and how your arms press down in addition to that push-pull. The legs are on. When you're ready for change, the back hand presses down, and we are again building time in each of these places, in each position, remembering to breathe. We get to stretch the diaphragm from different positions and tugging, affecting the fascia and the range of movement, the mobility, the freedom of movement. All of that counts. When you're ready for change, the front hand goes, back of the hand to the outer knee. As you come into this hinging forward, the back hand uses the chair in a pulling position. In most every twist, one hand pushes and the other one pulls. And as a result, the legs turn on a little bit more and the spine extends. It is the measure the effectiveness of a safety net. When you're ready for change now, the back hand goes behind you, back of the hand against the back. Slide it across the back body any amount and use both arms into your body to support the action of twist while the spine extends. Here, the legs turn on a little bit more. You should feel all of that. Deep breath. Nice. And inhale and come on back. So we will take away the block and sit centered at the chair, but continue to sit forward. Bring your hands back to your side ribs. Drop the chin toward the chest. Take on that lateral breathing exercise. Keep your attention inward and just notice if there is more freedom of movement, if there's more accessibility to this expansion laterally, that we loosened up a few muscles and your body knows now what to ask for, breathing into your hands. We're going to add to that lateral breath with the action of arms now. Take your hands forward. Draw the fingertips back towards you. Very nice. Take the arms wide. Keep the fingertips back towards you. Reach from the base of the shoulder blades through to the heel of the hand. Turn the fingertips back. Great. And notice if you can do more. And if you cannot, it's okay, do what you can. But can you continue the rotation so that you are aiming the fingertips to point down? So we have this external rotation that's a little bit more enhanced. And to add a little bit more value, can we lift the arms so they are closer to eye level rather than to shoulder height? And over time with practice, we are taking the arms even further back. And that's a tall order, so do what you can. Notice that we're doing this toward the end of our sequence rather than the beginning. And then relax. Let your fingers reach out, and I'll come closer. I'd like for you to consider shining your light, right? If there were lights in the center of the palm, so really stretch. And notice that you are doing this not with your elbows, but just with your hands. And if your wrists start to feel tired, stop when you're ready. But just notice that this has an effect on wrists and fingers, the back of the hands, the forearm muscles. And it's important to keep our wrists strong. This will help with weight bearing, with all the tedious things that our hands do, and build a little resilience that way. And then shake them out. We'll continue to use this idea too from different angles. Turn your palms up. Rest them in your lap. Index fingers to the thumb tips, chin toward the chest. Slow, deep breathing. You can keep your place here and simply rest. You can sit back in the chair if you feel that you've spent your energy and need a little bit of the support at the back of the chair. When you come to your chair yoga practice, if it is in your practice to use getting to the floor and putting the legs in the seat of the chair, I want to take the time to introduce it, but know that when you get to the position, to spend time with it, not just to be there for a minute or two, but to be there for 5 or 10 minutes. So I wanted to take the time and introduce that concept. The way that you would get to the floor is using your warrior one. So one knee forward and then dropping to the floor. And as you come to the floor, to sit beside the chair and then to recline by coming to your side first. And then rolling the legs up into the seat of the chair. So we will talk about that more in the future. We will talk about how it is important to have knees and hips at 90 and how to support the head so that the neck is neutral. And it will become an option for you in your own home practice. There are many advantages, but I wanted to take the time to share that it is a wonderful way to use the chair. And when it's time to come up, there are two ways. You can roll to the side, plant one foot, and use the chair. So your feet use warrior one, you lift the back knee, and you're able to come upright and the chair is there. The other way for folks who say, but I cannot put my knees at the floor, and again, it's an option. I won't teach chair yoga with getting up and down, but I know some folks like that idea. So at the end of class, you are welcome to do that on your own. But the other way is to bear weight into the hands, to swivel from your side and to bear weight into the hands and use a downward facing dog, to walk the hands toward the feet and to use that powerful chair-like pose to come up, any or all of that. And we'll continue to talk about variations so that anyone who wants to do that will find the capacity to do that safely. But for now, bring your hands to your heart. Thank you for joining me today, welcoming the opportunity to begin anew together. Namaste.